Matthew Knies, the young prodigy of the Toronto Maple Leafs, has been making waves in his second season in the NHL, and expectations surrounding his future are only growing. At 22 years old, the winger has shown that he is ready to take on a more significant role within the franchise, but one important question looms over his future: the contract extension. Amid a season that can already be considered a success, the matter of a renewal is on the table but still without a defined outcome. Knies started the season with an electrifying pace, one that has already made clear his potential. On Monday night, he scored his 10th goal of the season, solidifying his status as one of the team's most valuable players. However, this journey hasn't been without obstacles. Recently, he took a big hit from Zach Whitecloud of the Vegas Golden Knights, which kept him out of a few games. Despite that, Knies already has 15 points in 22 games, an impressive mark that confirms his ability to shine even under pressure. What intrigues everyone most is that, despite his promising season, negotiations for Knies' contract extension are still far from being resolved. According to Dave Pagnotta of the Fourth Period, the issue causing the delay is the length of the contract. While the team desires a long-term commitment, Knies' camp is leaning toward a slightly shorter period, possibly 3 to 4 years, instead of a 2-year bridge deal. Maple Leafs fans, who have grown used to drawn-out negotiations, recalling the extensions of William Nylander, Mitch Marner, and Auston Matthews, are understandably concerned about the possibility of an impasse. A prolonged situation only increases anxiety among fans who are eager to see the team lock up a player who has already captured the hearts and minds of the fanbase. After all, the city and its passionate fanbase deserve a positive resolution for a player who has made such a strong impression. There is, however, a silver lining. The talks between the team and Knies' camp have resumed. This was confirmed by Nick Alberga during his appearance on Leafs Morning Take. Both sides are back at the negotiating table, bringing a glimmer of hope to fans. What seems clear is that while negotiations are ongoing, the willingness of both parties to reach an agreement remains uncertain. Knies was one of the standout players during the 2023 playoffs. His presence in the series against the Boston Bruins was notable, with many experts and fans considering him the Leafs' best forward in those intense matchups. His rise was swift, and it's clear that new head coach Craig Berube has been betting heavily on his potential, giving him significant time on the power play, penalty kill, and defensive responsibilities at even strength. Knies' game is multifaceted. He is a physical forward but also possesses refined hockey IQ and a natural instinct for finding the back of the net. The combination of these traits makes him a valuable asset who can help the franchise reach the long-awaited Stanley Cup. And with a team looking to regain its place at the top of the NHL, retaining Knies isn't just a necessity, it's a long-term strategy. The contract issue isn't just a formality, it's a fundamental piece of the team's strategic planning. For the Leafs management, ensuring that Knies stays long-term could help avoid higher costs down the road. The longer negotiations drag on, the more expensive they could become, and that's something the franchise needs to keep in mind. In a league as competitive as the NHL, where teams are constantly adjusting to maintain a competitive edge, the pressure to lock down a deal with Knies is high. In a scenario where the Leafs are seeking a sustainable path to competitiveness, signing a solid contract for Knies becomes a top priority. The history of complicated extensions with the Leafs hasn't been encouraging, but the hope is that this negotiation takes a different and more efficient route. For fans, Knies' extension would be a sign that the team is committed to developing young talent, something that could be a turning point for the franchise. Such a commitment could inspire confidence in a long-term plan that finally leads the Leafs to the long-coveted Stanley Cup. The message Knies delivered during training, his desire to be a Maple Leaf for a long time, resonates with the fanbase. And as he continues to shine on the ice, the wait for an agreement becomes a testament to the tension that surrounds the world of hockey, the pursuit of stability amid the chaos of negotiations and the risks of an unforgiving league. In the end, the answer may lie in how quickly both sides can find common ground. For the Leafs, it's crucial that this is done before Knies becomes a restricted free agent, which would only increase the risk of a standoff for the player. For Knies, the chance to establish himself on a team that looks promising should weigh heavily in his decision. Now, it's up to fans to hope that the Leafs management and Knies' camp can come to an agreement that, in the end, keeps the flame of hope alive in Toronto. Because if there's one thing we all want, it's to see this young talent don the blue and white for many years, battling with passion to bring back the glory that Toronto so desperately deserves. The contract negotiation scene for Knies also raises questions about the impact his renewal will have on the Leafs' cap space. With the team already committed to significant contracts for stars like Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander, adding a new deal for Knies will require careful budget adjustments. The management's ability to strike a balance between retaining current talent and investing in promising young players will be tested in the coming months. The Maple Leafs know they need to act smartly to avoid falling into a situation where a lack of cap space prevents them from making crucial roster adjustments. If Knies continues his rise and establishes himself as a core piece of the team, his contract could become one of the highest in his class, and that's an issue the team must anticipate. It's a challenge that serves as a test for the management, which has faced difficulties dealing with cap space in the past. In the meantime, Knies has been a model of professionalism, showing that, regardless of the contract talks, his motivation to excel on the ice is unwavering. With every game, he proves he can be a central figure, not just for his ability to score goals but also for his vision and defensive contributions. This aligns perfectly with the style of play that coach Craig Berube wants to implement, where defensive solidity is just as important as offensive prowess. Knies, who was selected in the second round of the 2021 draft, has proven that the pick was the right one. His journey from his early days in the NHL to now reflects remarkable progress and makes it clear that he has what it takes to have a successful career. The story of players who are not chosen in the first rounds and go on to become stars is one that inspires everyone in the hockey world, and Knies is a perfect example of this. Leafs fans, known for their unwavering passion, hope the team's management can find a solution that keeps Knies in Toronto. They know that, with him on the team, the hope of seeing the Leafs lift the long-awaited Stanley Cup increases significantly. Memories of the frustrating playoff losses in recent years are still fresh in the minds of fans, and Knies' presence could be the piece that helps turn the page and build a victorious future. Additionally, Knies' extension could influence other future decisions for the Leafs. With a guaranteed contract, Knies could become a leader and a reference for other young players waiting for their chance. This helps foster a culture of development and success, something that is essential for the future of the franchise. The Leafs must also consider how Knies' extension could impact team chemistry. Young players often have a desire to prove themselves, and Knies is no exception. He wants to show his value but also needs the support of his teammates and a strategy that helps him develop. This means that the Leafs management must ensure that the team continues to strike a balance between young talent and veteran players who can help guide them. If the negotiation is successful, it could be a significant sign that the Leafs are ready to build something lasting. Knies' publicly expressed desire to stay with the team for many years demonstrates his commitment and confidence in the team's direction. This confidence could inspire other players and show that Toronto is a place where talented players can thrive. On the other hand, the pressure to finalize the renewal as soon as possible is real. With the season underway and Knies proving his worth, the urgency to seal a deal is apparent. Allowing this situation to drag on until the end of the season could increase the chances of other teams trying to compete for his signature as a restricted free agent, something the Leafs must avoid at all costs. With the deadline for a potential extension approaching, fans, media, and analysts are asking, what will Matthew Knies' future hold? Will he continue to wear the blue and white, or will the renewal drag on longer than necessary? One thing is certain, the Leafs' decision and Knies' response could shape the team's trajectory for many years. And as everyone waits, hope remains alive, fueled by the promise of a player who has already become an early icon in Toronto.